everybody, it's Jean, and I'm gluing. I'm gluing tonight. I'm gluing my heart out. This is my second or third attempt at a video. The last one was an hour long, and it was completely out of camera range, half of it, so unusable. And I think coming up here, I did show you the pictures that I did. This is a new journal. It's a new glue book. It's one I started last fall, and I think I showed you some pictures of it in a video. I think I brought it out in a video and showed you some of the pages. It was really, this is what I did the other day. There was a whole spread on the Wizard of Oz place, the theme park that's in North Carolina. So they were great pictures, and apparently they're gone. But anyway, so the last one that I did, half of it was off, and I'm just gluing because I have I'm at loose ends or something. I don't know how to say it. I feel edgy, and I feel stressed out, and I feel like I have cabin fever, and yet it was a beautiful day today, and I hardly went out, but I just didn't seem to have the heart for it today. So anyway, I thought tonight, after mindlessly watching reruns of Modern Family, I found out I hadn't watched Modern Family the first year, and so there were, I had that whole first season to watch, and then it's kind of drifted into the other seasons, and it's been so long since I've seen those, it's just kind of fun to watch again. And it's kind of fun to watch it from the beginning all the way through, how things develop. So I was kind of mindlessly watching that today. I got my COVID shot. So it might be that's why I feel at loose ends and very tired, and I'm not supposed to have any reaction to the first one, but other things are going on that are making things stressful. So I just decided to do some gluing, and I'm doing this badly here. I'm just going to just sit and chit chat and leave this in the background for you to watch while I chit chat. But I can't help but laugh at how badly that was tearing. And I bought that because it has a saw edge on it, and I thought, oh, that'll tear really nice. But it tears like it has like a saw edge, so it tears evenly like aluminum foil would tear off the roll. Only the saw edge is a little bit more noticeable. So that's not really good. But I love this page because it had a lot of all those dish towels from different states. And I thought, oh, that is so cute. So I might go back and bring them in a little bit closer for you. But right now I'm just trying to do a little voiceover, and I want to spend some time with you. I feel like I've been by myself a lot lately, and I think I miss my chit chat with you guys. So I'll just keep going here. Anyway, I started this book last summer, and then I started into my. I just one day just took an old composition book, and this is one of the good ones that was made in Vietnam. It's a real sturdy one, and I just put all kinds of background pages I knew that I wouldn't use on anything else, that are just kind of, some are just outlandish, some are too bright, some are just, I was just throwing everything in this book. I think I spent several hours just putting background pages in it, and I had the best time because these are pages I probably wouldn't be using on anything else. They just aren't my style pages, really, but they're great for a glue book. So, especially because a lot of times, I cover up the whole page, but I didn't really cover up any of the pages that I had glued in there. I just covered up all these pages that still were yet to be glued. So if that makes any sense. But yeah, my voice is rough because I haven't done any talking. When you're home alone and you don't talk to anybody, your voice gets kind of rough. I guess that's why it's rough. Actually, I did spend a couple hours talking to a friend on the phone last night. Or the night before last. So it wasn't too bad. Anyway, I tend to try to cover up some of the external writing and things in this here, on this page here. But I like the whole background, and I like the saying on there, but I didn't want the other text. And oh goodness, I'm all bummed out about this because I tried to cut out these giraffes, and I thought, oh, they would be very, very cute. But I kind of wish I had just left them on the page. Somehow it just doesn't look right when they were cut out. And I was disappointed because I really like the little giraffes. But anyway, you can see I'm making every effort to cut them out nicely. And I'm trying to kind of add legs to the tall one. But yeah, it just didn't look right on that page. It didn't look right close up. So I put it aside. We'll see if we can't work it in somewhere else. I didn't work it in tonight on any of those. So what I have done here, let's get back to the beginning. What I have done here is I took a whole stack of pages that I had harvested, and what I do sometimes is I just go through magazines and I just harvest and harvest and harvest pages, and I leave them whole, even though there's only one little tiny thing I'm going to use on them. But some of them, I want the whole page, because I have decided there's no reason why I can't keep a whole page and glue a whole page into a book. because I just happen to like that, just like I'm doing here. I'm gluing pretty much the whole page in. And then later on, I can go back and cover up text or parts of the page that I really don't want. I'll add other things to it. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm going through this stack of pages that I've pulled out, that I harvested last winter. It was before Christmas, and I have a whole lot of Christmas pages in here that you'll see coming up that I've rejected for now. But I'm not rejecting forever. But anyway, so you can just see kind of how I like to. You'll see what I find in magazines, and I'm not sure, but I think that I harvested these magazines in one of my harvest videos. So they might be familiar pages to you. And now you're just seeing how I'm going to use them. But I have a whole stack of them, and I spent almost 2 hours gluing tonight. Just enjoying myself gluing and relaxing. And it's amazing how you can just you can just almost feel yourself calming down and just relaxing and enjoying yourself and feeling the colors, feeling the different text that you save, and kind of enjoy that. I did try those silly, and I thought, well, maybe it needs to be on a desert, something. Anyway, I didn't get to use those, but I just I didn't develop too many of the pages. Some of these you'll see I'm just coming along, and I spend a little bit of time on. Others, I just glue something big on there, and I will go back and develop those pages later. But right now, I'm just gluing the backgrounds on here. And they don't have text. A lot of them won't have any text, and they won't have anything much but just gluing. So anyway, isn't that cute though, that little stack of masks? I thought, oh, that's adorable. I like that. So I just had fun with this, and the thing is I was trying to talk through it, and I couldn't keep my conversation going. I kept stopping and thinking about what I was doing. Now, I pulled the green out because I thought the green looked nice with the leaf and the butterfly and so forth. But it needed something a little more, so then I added the yellow. And it still needs more, and I'm still going to add to it. And right now, as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, you know what would be nice is some strips of washi tape. Oh, I'm thinking, I'm looking at this, doing my voiceover, and I'm thinking, why am I coloring purple behind it? You can see I'm just not myself. Yeah, that's my glue. My glue stick is all purple. But I was kind of lost in my thoughts, and all of a sudden I look down and I'm coloring it purple, and I think, why am I coloring the back of that? Because later on I do some more of this. So anyway, what I was thinking would look nice, just as I'm looking at this, would be some strips of washi in that in the middle of that green to kind of break it up. Maybe even some narrow, different width of strips. So we'll see what we do. But for now, we're just gluing, we're just putting things together and not really developing any of the pages. So one of the things that I have been thinking about, and the reason I really I've been so uptight, like I say, I've tried to do some gluing and some art pages earlier, and I just didn't do a very good job. I was uptight, and part of it is that I was worrying a lot over my eyesight, because a couple weeks ago I was driving and I noticed that I had this floaty that was so big, and it was bothering me. I was out and it was sunny, and every time I blinked it would blink bright, and I thought, I don't know if floaties do that. So even while I was driving, I was closing one eye, and I realized the left eye was blurry, and every time I looked at anything it was twisted, and I couldn't read like street signs. I would be sitting at a stoplight and I would look at the stoplight and the stoplight would be all twisted, and or I'd look at the street sign and I couldn't read the street sign because it would narrow in like an hourglass and then narrow back out. So I was concerned about it, and I thought, well, let me wait and see if this doesn't, go away. So I waited a few days, and it didn't go away. So I called the eye doctor, and they, my, he's not an optician. He's a ophthalmologist. I called my ophthalmologist, and I went in to have him take a look, because I was a little nervous about it, because it just wasn't going away. And you know what I do is I wait until till late at night, and then I call, and I got the number. I looked up the number, and I realized I couldn't call. So I called first thing in the morning, and they got me in that day, later on in the afternoon. And he looked at it and he said, it looks like a lesion on the macula. And he says, maybe it looks like there might be some bleeding into it, or there's something. He says, but I'm not really sure what it is. I think what you need to see is a retina specialist. So I was alarmed, and I had to wait. They wanted me to get in that day, but I had to wait, and that was a Friday till Monday. And then we had our big snowstorm on Monday, so I had to cancel. And then when I called them, my next appointment that they could get me in on was 10 days away. So I had 10 days that I was kind of worrying over what was wrong with my eye, and it didn't clear up in all that 10 days. Some days I thought it might be clearing up, but then other days it seemed like it was the same. So I finally went in, and there was good news and there was bad news. First of all, my biggest worry over those 2 weeks that I had waited to get in, my first worry was that it might be cancer, because he called it like lesions or something, and that there was an area that was dark, and there's shadowing or something. So I was worried about that. And then the other thing I was worried about is when I looked up what he said he thought it was, that said it was caused most of the time by people who were diabetic but untreated. And I thought, well, if I'm diabetic, I've certainly been untreated, but I haven't been eating sugar. So I'm thinking, how could I be anyway, I was justifying all these things in my mind. And so I thought, okay. I called my regular doctor and I said, I did take some tests, I had blood work done earlier in the fall. Did it show anything that like I was diabetic? And they said, no, all of your tests were fine. There was nothing wrong. They went and got them and they looked them over again and they said, there's nothing there. Everything was normal. So I thought, okay. And I'm thinking, can you develop diabetes in just such a short time? Enough to cause eye damage? And I don't know. So anyway, all these things have just been running through my mind. So there so I go into I couldn't get a regular appointment. No, I had to get a 7:30 appointment, which meant that I had to leave at 6:45 in the morning. And I had to have my son drive me because they were going to dilate my eyes. Okay, so the night before I go in, I get a call saying, "Oh, we've scheduled your COVID test. You get your COVID vaccine." Not a test because I'm not sick, but your COVID vaccine for 10:30 tomorrow morning. I'm like, what? 10:30 tomorrow morning? That's crazy. I've got a 7:30 appointment, and they said when I did my pre-registry, they said plan to be here from 1 to 3 hours. And I thought, I won't make it. But then I didn't have time to go in and I didn't have time to call them and change it or tell them that I might be a little bit late or anything. Because they were already closed and I would be already in the appointment before they opened up tomorrow. So I couldn't do anything. I just sent a text and I said, I'll be there. I was really hoping that I would. So I go in the morning and I get there right on time and I'm the first one in and he takes a look at it and there was good news and there was bad news. And the good news is that it wasn't cancer and it wasn't caused by diabetes. The bad news is that there's this substance that's in your eye that tends to disappear as you get older. And I don't remember what he called it. It's some sort of a jelly-like substance or something. And anyway, as you get older, it shrinks and it shrinks away. Well, sometimes when it shrinks, it attaches itself to the retina or the macula and it pulls. And it pulls and tugs on the macula. And what this one has done is it has attached and it pulled and it tore a little hole in the macula. So it's called a macular hole. And it's fixable, which is good. That's a good thing. It's fixable. It's a 90% chance that it will work on the first try, which is a good thing. And then the next issue is that for 2 days after or 2 days plus, I guess, from what I was reading, but he said it was 2 days. For 2 days, you have to hold your head down, face down. And some of you probably know somebody who's had this. He says it's fairly common. And he says it's not real common, but it's common enough that it's something that's done all the time, this particular surgery. It's even an outpatient surgery. You don't have to go in the hospital. You just go into the office and they do it there. But you have to hold your head down, face down, for 2 days. That means that you have to kind of lay your head like on a table, or lay on your stomach, or on a bed with your head kind of hanging over the side. Anyway, it just sounds terrible. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that's, he says, oh no, people do it all the time. It's not a big thing. And I'm thinking, well, okay. So, so that's the deal. And then he said, after the 2 days, you can't drive for like 3 weeks. You can't fly. Well, I'm not going to fly anyway. And there was something else he said you couldn't do, and I can't remember what it is, but it wasn't a big deal. The big deal was I couldn't drive for 3 weeks. So that means that somebody will have to pick up my groceries. That's all, because I normally don't go anywhere anyway. But I was looking forward to going to someplace. Because I had the COVID vaccination, and so now I have. Once I get the second shot, I'll be able to go places. So I'm going to have to juggle this surgery in between, and so I told him, I said, well, I don't, let me think of it. He says, you don't have to do the surgery. He says, if you don't do the surgery, it's not going to get any worse. Except what will happen is, instead of seeing things twisted, it will develop and it will make a blank spot there. And you won't be able to see anything. It'll just be black. And just right in the middle of your vision. You have all your peripheral, but in the middle there, whatever you're looking at will be black. But you'll still have the other eye. So he said, you don't have to do the operation. But he said, 5 to 20% of the people that this happens to, it happens to their other eye. So you're risking that if you don't do anything, it'll become permanent and you can't fix it. After it becomes permanent and becomes black, you can't fix it. Right now it's fixable. So he said, you have to make a decision. And I said, well, let me think about it. And because right now it's bothersome that it's there, but anyway, I wanted to think about it. I want to talk it over with my kids, and of course they all said I should do it, and I think I should too. So I'm trying to get an appointment. But what I have to do is I have to have it done within 30 days, or I have to go through all the same appointment that I just went in for and have all the new pictures taken and everything if I wait 30 days. So 30 days or 28 days from then, I have to have the second COVID shot. So I have to fit this in between or before my next COVID shot is due. So that means I'll have to have somebody drive me to take the next COVID shot too. So anyway, which isn't a big deal. I mean, I don't have a problem finding somebody to take me. I have 2 kids that live here. Both of them are willing to do it. So anyway, that's all this stuff has been going on. And then there are some other things that have been going on which have caused me a lot of stress. But, that's not, not happening to me, so I can't really talk about it. But anyway, so with all that going on with my eyes and the other thing, and then all that, I was feeling pretty stressful. So working in this book was great. So anyway, I had to tell you all what was going on, and I had to tell you all what was coming up. So the other thing that he said, if you have this operation, he says what I've noticed is you have the very beginnings of cataracts in both eyes, which really amazed me because I had an eye exam just a year ago. Well, a little over a year ago. It was a year ago last December, and I had no signs of cataract. He said, "Wow, you don't have any signs of cataracts." Well, this doctor says I have. Of course, he's more of a specialist too. He's a retina specialist rather than an ophthalmologist. So anyway, he said he sees the beginning signs of cataracts, and he says what will happen when you have this operation? It will speed up the process of the cataract that's developing. And you'll have to have a cataract operation. You'll have to have that cataract removed. So he said that will be another one coming up. So that's, and that's all, for me to deal with, for me to think about. And hopefully within a month, all of these things will be off the table, and I'll just be dealing with the little aftermath. And they did say that once I had the surgery, it would take about 6 months for my vision to return to normal. It will just take that long for it all to get back to normal. And he says it won't be 100% like it was, but it'll be a lot better, that I'll be able to see with that eye and not have all that distortion. So anyway, that's in a nutshell for me. So so that's what I've been thinking about. And while I've been thinking about that, I decided to watch TV. And I was finishing up that All Creatures Great and Small. Oh my gosh. It's on PBS. It's on Masterpiece Theater. And they always do everything so well. But I don't like how they did All Creatures Great and Small. I read those books way before the BBC had a series. I read those books years and years ago. And these are books that I have read and reread, not just All Creatures Great and Small, but the 4 series of books and some of the offshoots where they talk about the places that James Herriot lived. All Creatures Great and Small, the book is like historical fiction. Okay, he has fictionalized true events. So they're not exactly how it happened, but the book is just so enjoyable, and it's very humorous. And all of the books are humorous, and his style of humor is awesome. And it came out very well in the BBC series, the British series that was on for so many years. And I loved those characters. They were just how I pictured the characters in the books. And they just did such a good job. They were so close to the books. They kept everything. It was just a series I loved. And just last year, I watched, while I was in Florida, my sister had a British channel on her television, and I watched the whole series from beginning to end. So I was just really, really into it, and I've read the book so many times that I don't even have to read them again. I can just think about the stories, and I remember the stories. And I remember whole passages of conversation in the books and how things happened and how funny they were. And sometimes just thinking about it makes me laugh. But anyway, this series, they have the characters behaving differently than they do in the books. They and it bothers me. And they have the housekeeper, instead of being an older woman who is somewhat in the background, important to the household, definitely, but somewhat in the background. In this series, she's just right up there as a main character with them, and she's young. And it just doesn't seem right. She just doesn't fit. It's not right. It's not how the stories are. And she bothers me. I like her, but she doesn't seem like that she's Mrs. Hall. Okay? She's not like the housekeeper. She's like an interloper. And anyway, and the three that play the main characters, there's a similarity, definitely a similarity. I think the one who plays James Harriet does it the best. But they've made this more into a drama series instead of like a humorous. It's not the humor is lost in it, because they're taking things that that happen, but they're putting a big dramatic spin on it, and it's not how it went in the books. They've changed the stories to make them way more dramatic, way more nail biting, I guess you might say. And I don't know. Anyway, I'm just not happy with the series. So they finished up, and you would think that they would have finished up with the end of the book, but no, they left you hanging. They didn't finish up with the very first book. So maybe they're, but almost to the end of the first book. And also, they had events in there that just didn't happen. It just is so frustrating. I can kind of see why they're doing it, because it's new and more stories, more events, more of the characters, insights that maybe he didn't write about. But I really wanted my real one. I wanted my real stories. So anyway, and I don't know whether I feel more disgruntled about it because of other things going on, and I'm just kind of out of sorts, or whether I have a legitimate gripe. I don't know. So anyway, so that's that. That's what I'm thinking about. And it's too bad I didn't pick that book up and show you how cute that is. Now I'm back to looking at before I wasn't even looking at looking at the picture. But I should have picked that book up so that you don't see the glare. I keep forgetting about that stupid glare that I get off of that lamp. I wish there was a way the only thing I can think of is just to not cut pictures out of magazines that have the glossy finish, that cut pictures out of magazines like um, the Daphne's Diary, that have a matte finish to the pages. That would be so much better. Oh boy, I love this. I love this page. Yep. Now, one thing I think if I had to flip that page over one more, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going, like I say, I'm still going through my stack of pages. And if I had flipped that page back one more, I probably would have put it on that page because it's bright yellow. But I didn't. I put it on this. I really love the contrast of the yellow and the pink and purple and the green. It just was so awesome. Now, I'm going to have to zero in so you can see what that says. But I can't read it. I would tell you, but I can't read it from where I'm at here. So anyway, yeah, I'm still just cutting out things. Now see how bright yellow that page is? I'm thinking, oh, I should have waited, but okay, this is the next page. I'm just so happy with what I've cut out. You know what made me really, really happy here? When I was working on this tonight, I was just so happy to be working with all new stuff. I wasn't rooting through the same box of stuff that I have been trying to use up. And I think it's time to retire that box. Even though the stuff is great, it's just stuff that I'm not seeing. I'm not working, I'm not happy with. I don't want to cut them up and put it. I don't know what I want. But all of these new pages that I haven't looked at since I harvested the magazine months ago, to me were just inspiring. And I just couldn't wait to cut everything up. I couldn't wait to glue it down. like I say, I was sat here for a session of almost 2 hours, just having so much fun. Now these pages, this bright yellow and the pinkish yellow page, were both pages that I had already done when I originally was putting backgrounds in this book. So yeah, it's just so fun. I just love those bright yellow stars, and I'm cutting out some things, but I'm really, like I say, I'm really not developing these pages. Some of the pages are somewhat developed, but I'm really not finishing pages. I'm not sure exactly. Some of them I'm pretty happy with just how they are. So that I've done some more to, but some of them I've just put down a background today. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm just so careless about cutting things. But this is just a glue book just for me to enjoy. Also, I've been doing some cleaning and sorting, kind of like a spring cleaning, because I noticed that some of the areas of my house have been getting, I've been cleaning around them, so they've been getting dusty and I've been packing stuff into shelves and setting, more and more stuff on there. So I decided to have a good sort through and clean. And so I was looking through some of my old glue books. And oh my goodness, it's just so fun to look through an old one. It's really, because I never go back and look at my videos. I've got videos on here from almost 4 years now. Well, I think I started in May of 16, so it'll be almost 5 years. So I've got a lot of videos. I think it was May of 2016 that I did my first video. And I have to say, that was just so amazing. And that first junk journal that I made, out of all junk pages, I made it so thick that I can't possibly think of putting stuff on those pages. But I just love the book how it is. And I've never done anything with that book. I just love all the background pages of it. I love how it turned out. I was so happy with it, and I made it so full that I think that if I actually put things on the pages, it would probably stand up in a circle. So anyway, so these I felt very inspired by them. I really, really liked them, and I just had so much fun with working. I've talked your ear off already, and now I'm trying to think, what else have I been doing? We had the big snow, so we've been a couple weeks, myself and I have been a couple weeks in the house because it took forever for the snow to melt away. It's finally all melted away, and it was a beautiful day today. It's a beautiful day, but I just wasn't feeling well. It wasn't from the shot, I don't think, but I had a headache, and I just felt kind of tired and worn out and sad, very sad today. So I was trying to keep myself busy, and I did turn on the TV. Oh, I watched a movie. I watched a movie today about, what do they call it? I was going to say Vagabond Land, but it was Nomad Land. And it starred the same person that did Fargo. I love the movie Fargo. And McDermott is her name. That's her last name. Anyway, she starred in it. But the movie was about people who are living in vans and campers and so forth. It was an interesting movie because they focused on the people who were forced to live in vans and campers, and it really gave a very dismal picture of their situation. And they talked about Quartzsite, and they talked about problems that people have, and half of the cast were real nomads that live in these vans, and these are the people that she interacted with in the movie, and just a very, very interesting movie. But the thing is that I know so many people through YouTube and through my daughter and so forth, that are doing this, but they're doing it voluntarily. They're wanting to live like nomads. They don't want to take care of homes, which is what my daughter. Now, she is not in a van or in a broken down camper like most of the people in this film. I mean, she has a big Class A. In fact, in the film, they tour one of those, and it has, it has everything in it: a washer and a dryer, and nice rooms, and it's beautiful, and it's a real home on wheels. But these, like my daughter, this is something that they want to do. They were so glad to sell their home and all of the problems that go with owning a home and maintaining property and worrying about the property when they were on the road, because they love being on the road. Anyway, it's just been just a blessing. And when they're tired of it, they'll buy another house and live in it if they ever get tired of it. And it might be that they do, but right now they want to. And all of the people that I'm friends with and that I follow on YouTube, they are all willing. They're very happy to be shedding their former lives of being, locked into jobs and mortgages and taking care of properties. They just want to live and travel and see the United States, and they want to go from place to place. They want to raise their families on the road. So the movie really gave a bad showing of that, a bad impression of that. But anyway, I just wanted, if you see it, it's a bad impression. That's not how most of the people are that are doing that. At least I can say it's not everyone. So just in case you see that movie, and that's just not how it really is for everyone. Because there are many, many people who really, really want to be out there. Now, I added this little flip through that I did the other day, just so you could see some of the pages that maybe you didn't see before. This is actually before I started working tonight on the book. So anyway, I'm going to say happy gluing and good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.